Hello and welcome to A Spirited Debate. I'm Lauren Green. In Burundi, nuns are raped and beheaded at their mission. In Iraq, Kurdistan, militants of the Islamic Caliphate took over churches and convents, burned crosses, statues, and the Bible, and told the few Christians remaining to convert to Islam, pay a protection tax, or die. This summer's persecution of Christian communities in the Middle East and other areas by Islamic militants raised calls worldwide to protect religious minorities in the region. A coalition of Christians this week met in Washington, D.C. to increase awareness and demand government action. The In Defense of Christians conference brought together Orthodox Christians, evangelicals, Roman Catholics, and others for prayer, speeches, and a lobbying push on Capitol Hill. Joining me now is His Grace Bishop Angaelos, General Bishop of the Coptic Orthodox Church in the United Kingdom. Welcome, Your Grace.
Good afternoon, Lauren.
Just tell me, what was accomplished this week during this summit?
I think the first thing that was accomplished was bringing together such an array of Christians from the Middle East and from the West, Christian leaders, patriarchs from across the expressions of the Christian family, as you said, to all speak in one voice about a very real need that's happening on the ground in particularly Iraq, but also Syria and unfortunately also throughout the Middle East.
You were part of the delegation that met with President Obama, and there is a picture of you and others meeting with the president. What was accomplished during that meeting?
I think the most important thing accomplished was that the president was able to receive news from on the ground rather than through advisors. I'm sure the advisors do a wonderful job, but it's very different to listening to pastors and shepherds, leaders of faith communities, Christian faith communities on the ground, who have a real experience and knowledge of their people and the struggles of their people as they're living them today.
And what did you tell him?
There was a very real expression of the concerns there on the ground, the pain that's being felt, the huge humanitarian need that is there, the sense of danger that people are living in, the lack of security and stability for them, and really that we must all work together to try to support them in such a dire situation.
And what did he say in response?
I think President Obama was responsive. I don't think we said very much that he didn't already know, but as I said, hearing it from a different perspective I think would have been different. And pledged the support of the United States to helping with the very real humanitarian need there.
Were you satisfied with the conversation? Did you feel as if you were moving forward with the situation between Western powers actually helping the religious minorities in the region?
I think there was a general sense of satisfaction of people who were there, the patriarchs and the bishops who were there. If for nothing else, but we were given that length of time with the president and with other people who were there advising him. And I think more than that, in our gathering here in Washington with a meeting on Capitol Hill the day before and various members of Congress who had come to address us, there was a greater sense that people were getting a more robust understanding and view of what was happening on the ground.
You talked about the Christians speaking with one voice. However, one of the biggest news stories that came out of that conference, this summit, was that Texas Senator Ted Cruz was booed off the stage for his references to Israel. He said, "Those who hate Israel also hate the United States, and those who hate the Jewish people also hate Christians." He said, hatred of Israel and Jews runs counter to the teachings of Christ. He was actually booed off the stage after making those comments. Why was that? Who were the people booing him?
It was a situation that escalated quite rapidly. I didn't see anyone in the conference, to my knowledge, who hated Israel or hated the Jews. In actual fact, when the senator said that we were there to support Christians and Jews, people applauded that. One of the statements that was made throughout this summit was that when we're advocating here, we're not advocating just for Christians. We're advocating for Christians, for Yazidis, for a large number of Muslims who are also suffering from this current situation in Iraq. I can't speak on behalf of people who made those comments or reacted in that way, But I do know that the gathering there was very focused on Iraq and the very real pain that was sensed there at the time.
I think a lot of people are very surprised at the response to his comments about Israel. And I have to tell you a personal note, because my fiancé is actually Greek Orthodox, and I get a lot of this sort of negative feedback about Israel from the Orthodox churches, some of them in the region. And this is a new thing to many people in the West. They thought that a lot of the Christian churches, especially evangelicals, or any of the Coptic churches or Orthodox churches, are in great support of Israel, and that may not be the case. Why is that?
Israel is a state like any state. Israel, like the United States, like Britain. I think it would be unfair to say that people were unsupportive of Israel. And as I said, the problem was it really wasn't on the agenda. I think you had people there who were hurting because they have friends and family on the ground who were displaced, who were tortured, who died. Yeah. And I think having the senator who was addressing a very different issue was what frustrated them. I don't think, in my mind, or at least sitting there, I didn't feel that I was against Israel, and the people around me didn't say they were against Israel. I just think it struck a wrong note, and I think I saw a lack of empathy to people who were there, who were actually expressing real pain for very real attrition that was felt on the ground. Very
interesting. I want to wrap it up, but I actually want you to tell us, what is the most important thing we need to be focused on now in defense of Christians and other religious minorities in that area?
One line I have been always pushing over the past months and years is that we need to stop speaking about particular religions and speak about the rights of humans, rights of conscience, rights of religion, and rights of life and security in where they are. So we don't just speak about Christians or Jews or Muslims. We speak about the right of every human being as a creation of God, as in the image and likeness of God, who has been given that right by God, not by states. States protect these rights. God gives them. And I think we need to protect every person, Christian, Muslim, Jew, people of no faith at all.
But, and I have to say one comment, that is in effect a theology and a doctrine that many Muslims do not agree with. I mean, the Muslim terrorists do not agree with. And I think that is the issue, right?
The issue is that we need to have an idea of the sanctity of every life. And if I see a life that is less valuable than mine or has less of a right to exist, then that is a problem for the whole of humanity. And it's a problem for the development we've had over millennia. We're going back to a medieval view that we haven't seen in centuries. And back then it would have been tragic, but now in the 21st century it's unacceptable.
Well, I want to thank you very much, Your Grace Bishop Angaelos, General Bishop of the Coptic Orthodox Church in the United Kingdom. Thank you very much. We will be watching this story for obviously the next few months and probably the next few years. Thank you very much for being on A Spirited Debate.
Thank you.